much. I think we're alive here. And this is your host, Mae Renfroe. Welcome back to another episode of My New Monday. I hope everybody's had a great weekend and a great Monday so far. And I am so excited to have my guest, Tarryn Raquel. And actually, it is Tuesday where you are because you're in Australia. Yeah. Tarryn, just a big, big welcome here to Mighty Monday podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Thank you for inviting me to join and talk about one of my biggest passions, going through this journey. And I believe our testimony, is so powerful. So
so I'm excited to talk with you and just to introduce you to everyone. That Tarryn is a wife and a golden retriever mom, like we said, from Australia. She's a co-strategist and intimacy with God mentor and No More Dry Ground, faith and business masterminds and retreats. And so, she just loves helping other women grow in the relationship with God and kind of blending that with business, right? And just their whole life. So I'm excited to hear more what you have to share and why this means so much to you. Why you like helping other women. So if you could if you want to introduce yourself some more, share, that would be great.
So good. Mae, thank you so much for having me and for what you're doing here, in that obedience, in, doing that kingdom impact along the journey. So, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me with yourself all the way in Canada. It's been a wild journey for me. And look, I do believe that we've all gone through that wilderness season. You may be in the wilderness now or, coming out or whatever that looks like. But my true heart and here and helping, launch No More Dry Ground is, if you're tapped into the living water, there is no more dry ground. And coming to him and being in God's presence. So a bit about myself. Yes, I'm in Australia. A husband I adore. He's my rock. And look, to be openly honest with you, we've been together quite some time, wanted to become a mum and start a family for about 7 years now. And I can now confidently say, being here, that, yes, that's had its challenges through that storm, but what I've gained from that is so much greater. And that is discovering a peace within that. The one that they talked in the Bible, beyond your understanding. And it was there, but I didn't really get that. So going through that challenge in itself has been one that I've had to lean on him in a way that it really does bring you peace. So if that speaks into someone today, I just felt really led to say that to you as a sister, that, if you're in that journey, you're not alone. God is with you, and there's a reason. There's a plan for you. So here I am, and God has really, actually, he spoke to me at the last retreat in South Carolina. I just got back. And
you just had one.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. The beach and dolphins. Anyway, God really spoke to me there, and I had a dream. That I had new wings, and I was like, what is this? Like, I knew I was an eagle, didn't know what it meant. And now I do. I see that he actually spoke to me specifically and said, I've given you new wings. And wow, it's gone from struggling in my business, feeling like I couldn't get any more leads. I was planting all these seeds for years, like even getting someone to a call. Like, I kept turning up and I was striving and I was tired. And I don't know if you might even be able to relate, but I think when you're in that position, even at the end of the day, I felt like I wasn't doing enough. Like, I felt like I wasn't ticking the box, or like just this striving in my business to try and earn an income. I wanted to come home. I was in education, preparing to want to start a family. And I hit this point where I became really hard on myself because I was goal driven. and I wasn't hitting the goals.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
during that season, through that wilderness season, God truly showed me that if you're not doing it with Him, the fruits of the Spirit were quite distant to me.
mm.
You know,
Oh, wow.
the kingdom way of running a business and your life, it ripple effects into everything. You know,
Mhm,
being in that position of the kingdom way, it's different to a worldly way. And I had to learn that, because the kingdom way is, you know, with ease. His burden is light. Like,
mhm,
all
mhm,
of a
mhm,
sudden I partnered with God, I hit rock bottom, and I said, I can't do this anymore. So that's where, you know, Michelle Tufford, she was going through a very similar journey. She was in the world of success. Her experience was a harvest season. So, you know, she had, yeah, she'd retired her husband from home, multiple six-figure businesses, like the success, all the things that should tick the box.
mhm,
And through that journey and watching her as we drew closer to God and the intimacy to building that with Him and building a business with Him, you know, it really made us realize that it doesn't matter if you're in the wilderness season or the land of milk and honey or wherever you are, if you're not tapped into Him, you know, even to those who are in a successful business at the moment, then eventually that fulfillment is going to be missing,
mhm,
because He is the true source. He is the source of, you know, the living water coming here where there is no more dry ground, whatever
mhm,
season you're in. So we found a need. We found a need that we needed to create a space for women
mhm,
specifically to come together to, yes, grow their business. And you know, we're here to help share strategies and all those things.
mhm,
But at the end of the day, God is the divine. He's the CEO. He can change it all like that. And He just wants your heart. He just,
mhm,
you know, at the end of the day, it truly is partnering with Him in that.
mhm,
So we launched No More Dry Ground, and it's been an emotional journey of finding family and sisters who are running a business, and, you know, they're
mhm,
going through these challenges that the world can portray. But when you're working from that eternal perspective and working backwards, we just, iron sharpens iron, like just like
mhm.
this with you, May, like reaching out and connecting. It's so beautiful to see God's hand at work um, through that journey. So that's a little bit of who I am, and
Yep.
yeah, kind of why we launched, what we are
Mhm,
doing, and the core of it all is being tapped into Him and partnering with God as
mhm.
well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like that. So this retreat in North Carolina was your first one for doing? Okay.
yeah. So that was our second. So that was in South
Okay.
Carolina on
Oh,
Myrtle Beach. It was so
yeah.
beautiful. We had about 20 women. We do. That's our number. We don't
Oh,
want a
okay.
big retreat.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just okay.
So we wanted that intimate space, all based around No More Dry Ground. So for women in business as well. So we kind of add bits and pieces in that, but truly it's just to get to tap in and experience His overflow. And May, one thing I'll never forget. You know, Michelle and I were preparing for this retreat and praying over the women who were coming, and the one thing that God really spoke was to us was create space, because it's so easy for us to want to be like, okay, we'll do this or this, and He just kept saying, no, create space for me. So when we did that,
Oh.
God really showed up in a
Yeah.
really mighty, powerful way, and the
Yeah.
connections. And so yeah, South Carolina's beautiful. I want to come back, but our next retreats are in Utah. I've never been.
Okay.
St. George near Zion National Park. That's coming up in
Oh.
September. So that's our next one, and we've opened up a couple of different dates just because it's getting booked quickly. And
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
looking
You're
forward
doing
to it.
two. So you're gonna be doing what, two retreats right at that same time.
We will, yes. We've only just
Oh,
announced that last
cool.
week, so you're probably one of the
Okay.
first to hear.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow. So while you're over, you're
yeah.
just gonna how much space is between the two
About a
retreats?
day, one
Oh,
day. Yeah. So,
oh,
um,
wow. That's
but
cool because you had that big a turnout, but you want to keep it small. So you're doing one group and then one group back to back.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It is.
Oh,
It's something that came up quite often, like
yeah,
in regards to I've been to retreats before, but you kind of feel lost in the numbers, and it just feels right.
yeah,
We could go bigger, but it feels right to have more that intimate space.
yeah,
And I think the part for us, we want that vulnerable. We want to create a safe space where women can be open and like vulnerable. And that's what I brought to the retreat this time, and I plan to do that again. And it's truly it's hearing God's voice, like for
yeah.
yourself. And if I'm openly raw and vulnerable with you now, I felt like I couldn't hear from God. And I just kept kind of pushing it aside, going, oh, that's just me as a Christian woman.
Mhm,
Everyone else can. And so for years, May, I grew up a Christian, and
mhm,
um, God became quite distant. I felt like he was a bit more of like a judgmental God, and like he was
mhm.
there, but
Yeah,
like I would pray to him, but I wouldn't, even my grandparents and growing up, it wasn't something that was reciprocated so much.
yeah,
We didn't really talk about it was pray to God, but to hear his voice and that we can hear his
yeah,
voice. And it
yeah.
says that, but I just didn't understand. So I realized that I'm not the only one. It's not, this image of what we put out there of what God's voice is and what it looks like. He speaks through everything.
Yeah.
I even thought it was just, this audible voice, or oh, I heard God tell me, people would say that. And I'll never forget the first time I heard from God so straight into my heart. I think I cried for like 2 hours straight and just wept. Um, and it's just developed from there. So I really love to bring women through that journey of,
Wow.
how do, the way God speaks to me may be completely different to you, but there are so many different ways that
Yeah.
he's just like expanded through my senses and in nature and talking to me and telling me these things that only God could do. So
Mhm.
now I talk to him all the time. I'm asking him questions all day, and we're just having like these conversations. And I was far from that. So
Mhm.
that's an element that we
Oh,
also
wow.
bring to the retreats
Yeah.
as well.
So
Yeah.
to help people to really kind of listen to God and take the time, right? And just realize that he is so much there for us, but we got to invite him into these spaces, right?
Mm.
Um, Earlier I see
Yes.
someone ask what were we talking about. They probably know it well the more you explained it, but just about your personal relationship with Jesus and how that has
Yeah.
grown and how you like to share that with
Yeah.
others. And yeah, I think what happens we don't talk to God that much. We go about our things, and then when something happens, we kind of wonder, where is he? Well, the thing is, he is constantly there by us, but I, we have been doing life without him, because I don't
Yeah.
know what to say. It.
Yeah.
It can just happen. So I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's one example I give is, you may be walking in the supermarket and like someone will point out to you, oh, I love this song. And then you go, oh yeah, I love this song too. But
Mhm.
until someone pointed it out to you, that song was playing all along, but you weren't tapped into hearing it. And this is
Mm,
how I see God in our everyday life. Like he
okay.
talks through people,
Yeah.
resources, movement. And
Yeah.
I think it's for me the biggest shift, and I love sharing this too, is asking questions. I think that's something that I wasn't doing
Yeah.
um, enough. And if you create that space or that expectation by asking him the question, he will speak back to you. It just may not be the next day. It may not be
Yeah.
straight away. It might be in 3 years' time. So it's letting go of that that way that it looks like, and letting
Yeah.
him work with you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can relate to May. It's one of the it's a beautiful journey, but it can also be a challenging one at times too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And because when we don't just hear, when we want to hear, we don't hear what we want to hear from him, when we want to, then it can be like what's going on. That's what we really got to get in scripture. Go back to what we know to be true about God, and can just confirm that he is still good. Just because it doesn't look good right now, if he was good when everything was going good, then he's still good when everything is going
Oh,
wrong. It's in a waiting season. He's still good in the waiting season, in the not knowing. He was good
yeah.
then. He's still good now. Like, God doesn't change, right? He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And we really have to believe that. And there's a verse, I'm not going to be able to say it. It's in Hebrews, but it's talking about faith, that we can't please God without faith, because we have to believe that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And that's where it comes down to, right?
Mm,
We have to believe that he is a rewarder of those that he is hearing us. And when we really believe that and take that time to
yeah,
listen,
absolutely.
right?
And you're spot on. And I think even, some people come to me and they say, "Oh, but how do I know? How do I know if it's God?" Or like, "But that's me. Is it me? Like, it's my thoughts." Like, this is something I had to try and understand.
Mm,
I was like, "But that's me, or is it God?" And so really taking them through that journey of knowing who he is. And you're
mhm.
spot on, May. Cheers, lovely. I love that we're having a cuppa. That's what we call it in Australia.
Okay.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like, well, is that God's voice or not? How do you discern that? And like May was saying, for me, it's something that, well, when you're in the Word and you know God's personality, I went through that journey. For me, I just thought he was a judgmental father, and
mhm, mhm,
I
mhm,
just the thought of eternity and death and dying, like, that used to make me feel sick for years. And I hate that, like, I'm just sharing this testimony to be vulnerable, because that's honestly how I felt. I was fear of dying. What do you mean, like, forever? No end date. Like, am I going to know people? Am I going to be real? Like, all these things. And so when I took that to God, when I took that exact thing to him, he spoke to me in the most incredible way that layers fell off, and now I can't wait to go to heaven. I couldn't listen to people. People would be like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to heaven." And I'm like, "Oh, I can." Like, it used to scare me. And
mm,
now,
mhm,
oh,
mhm,
to be in his word and let him speak to you through your struggles, take it to him. Take all your worries to him, and he will reveal himself. And the other thing is the truth. To know what's true and real is by going to the word, knowing his personality, that he's
mhm,
loving, he's graceful, and he wants you to come to him with that. So if you're in that position, I just encourage you to take that exact thing to him, and he will reveal himself through that. And another way I sometimes think of, like, how do I know if it's God or not?
mhm,
Ask yourself that question, does it align with the fruits of the Spirit? Is it of love? This example, that I'm very visual, so I like to give these visual examples. Like people that work in the bank, and they actually use real money to train with. Yeah, so they know the feeling of the real money. They don't use the fake money. So then when they come across the fake money, they know it's not real. And so God's the same. When you're in the word and you know what is right and what is the real
mhm,
deal, the truth, you will
mhm,
know if it's not from him. So
mhm.
yeah, it's
Oh,
one of those things that I'm so passionate about, and I love that
yeah,
I get to bring this to No More Dry Ground, in as a family, and our purpose in life, being in ministry, or our business is ministry, being a mum is ministry, the supermarket, whatever that looks like,
yeah,
representing Christ and being the best version of yourself. we're going to hit storms. We're going to have challenges in life. But if we're tapped into him and with you and I and sisters in Christ, we can really elevate each other as iron sharpens iron as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And encourage each other and lift them up and point them to the one that gives us that hope and that peace and is there to carry our burdens, come to the or to come to him with our burdens. He that what is that verse?
Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
You all you may burden heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Or my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And what happens is we forget to carry those burdens to him, or we just we carry it and then don't realize that he wants to do that for us and to be there for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So
to answer our questions, that we might have, we can just need to take them to him and ask him about this and about that.
yes, and once you start doing that, like it's one of those things that once you've asked him, it's like you're expectant of him to answer you back as well. But releasing what it looks like. I could share many stories on how he spoke to me in ways
Go
that
ahead.
yes, that's something that I was like, oh, just next minute I'm in tears, even being in this position, I want to be mum. I want to be a mum. I always have. I've always had that in me. I've been in education, so I have such a heart for littlies and helping them believe they can do things when they think they can't. But I think that going through that journey, I took that to him. I took my struggle. I took my storm to him, and he's eased the pain. So I hit a point where, God, if it doesn't align with the desires of your heart, take it away from me. And so I find myself, I had to really learn to be a child. Like, what does that look like when you dive into your identity in who are you? But then how do you also see God? And that's that relationship coming together. I started to love myself again. Definitely something that I wasn't in that position, and it breaks my heart to say it now because I know how much that would have hurt God going through that. But now I'm here and I'm able to say to other women and other sisters in Christ going through that as soon as you start to see yourself through his eyes, everything will change. You will start to love yourself again and be more just coming from a place of being his daughter and what that looks like and the authority that we have and all these incredible things when you partner with him and in not just the serious things in life, but the silly things and have fun with him. And, even I'm at the supermarket and I'm just like, hey, God, it'd be really great. Can you just get me a car park closer because it's raining? Like these are the things as that relationship would happen as well. And that feeling intensifies as you practice that and you go to him and he speaks back to you. So I'm trying to think of an example I can give you. Oh, here's one, because I just looked at my fence. I was sitting here one day, May, and I just sat here. This was years ago, and I was looking at my fence, and there were two birds on the fence. And I just looked at them, and I said, well, that thought came into my mind, and I went, am I ever going to be a mum? Like, are we going to have a baby? Like, just say it straight. And I did. I was like, right, God. And so I'm looking at these two birds and I imagined that was my husband and I. Anyway, they flew away and I get back into work and I'm doing my thing. And then would have been nearly an hour later or so, I was sitting here and I leant over because the birds were gone. I leant over and saw the other fence on the side of my house. And here's two birds and this little baby one. And I just knew that it was speaking to me through that it will come. And it's been one of those things that I've challenged, not necessarily challenged, but came with the questions. I think don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. And yes, we're not going to know all the story. And when sometimes we're not meant to. Sometimes he's protecting us in that moment. But it'll grow. I love nature, and I love when you sit in that and you ask God question. He'll show yourself through that thing. It's been amazing. So yeah, I even at the retreat in South Carolina, I was walking along the beach. I did sunrise with Tarryn every morning, and I had my cuppa. I walked down the boardwalk, as they call it in America, and I said to God, I want to see a dolphin this morning. Show me a dolphin. And so I get down there, and I was like expectant. I'm like, oh, I want to. There could be a dolphin here. Imagine that. So I said that. I sat down. I got my phone out to it was beautiful. Sunrise, take a photo. Oh, and my phone said storage full. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll make room. So I go to make room on my phone for storage, and it says Wi-Fi needed. And so I was like this little child. I was like, okay, God, all right, fine. I don't need my phone. I walked up to the beach. As soon as I stopped and just stood still, this dolphin just came out of the water. I will never forget it. It was like it was in slow motion, and I just wept. Here I'm at a retreat running, but he's so personal. He's so personal. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So then you got to share that with your ladies, I bet.
I did,
Exactly.
and I'm so excited. And I didn't see one again. The next morning, so I didn't capture it. I was like, oh, but God wanted my attention. I was like, okay, you've got my attention, and it was just beautiful. And He knew that. He knows the little things. I think sometimes in this world we're like, why would He? I'm just one. I'm just one of so many. But He cares so much more about all your issues, your celebrations, your storms. Yeah, and it's a beautiful journey to go through. So yeah, I'm so grateful that I've been able to provide that opportunity, and just a really vulnerable, open, safe space to be like, this is what I do on our we also run Digging Deeper calls. So we get in the Word. I put the kettle on, and we catch up once a week, specifically just to grow in our faith. And how the Holy Spirit moves between one woman and the next, and their story and their testimony, and God's timing in what we need. It's how He works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is special. He does give us what we need when we need it. It happens when you don't cry out to Him and just ask Him and invite Him in. But that is neat. I bet praising Him in the storm has become a big part of your life, right? Do you find that really vital? Because that is powerful. It talks about in the Bible about praising Him, and it's like Paul and Silas with their chains in prison. They were praising instead of being there all grumping, which they may, but did some, but they were singing and the chains fell off.
Yeah.
And in other situations they went into battle singing.
Yeah. Spot on, Mae. And I think that going through that, I kind of look back and I think it's actually such an honor to be able to do that. Like to be able to actually praise Him in the storm. There's nowhere else we'll be able to do that. Like here on this earth where there is trials, there are tribulations, there's heartache, and it's hard. Like it can be really, really hard. But in those moments, we have a choice. We have a choice. And when you look at those examples in the Bible, or that, what praise and really stepping into that, what that can do in the storm is so much more than we can imagine. so much more. And so I feel like with you bringing that up, Phil is very spirit-led. It's very much so, like, it is. It's where else can you do that? We have a choice to do that. And I think that every storm that you ladies may be going through or will be going through, we do have a choice. And it's sometimes that reflection on looking back at what God's taken you through. He's done it before, he'll do it again. You are still here. And no matter how much we try and figure out why things are happening and put our like, okay, right, what's going on here, or take control. The more we do that, I think the more it takes away that trust in God's doing a greater thing. There's a greater picture happening. And we just don't know it all. But if we can turn up in that, like in the unknown, hey, like it's just like, I don't know what you're doing, God, but I trust you. Or, oh, he brought us through that. He'll bring us through this. You know, he's never going to leave you, no matter what storm comes up in your journey. I think that's what makes me cling even more tight to him in that storm. Because I know in others that, you know, things have come up or I'm feeling pressured or like finance. Earlier on, I had finances hit rock bottom, all the things. We've all got our own issues. But I look back now and I wish I just dropped to my knees and just said, God, I need you. But in those moments, I was trying to take control.
Yeah.
And there's something when you surrender. There's something when you surrender a storm to him, even though you're terrified and you're looking at the worldly ways of what's happening. That's what I was meaning, like that eternal perspective. If you can focus up there and come down here rather than focus here and then go up there, I think we have access to that here and now. So
for sure. Oh, that's wonderful. I just, I'm loving this so much. Yeah, it is so good. I was going to ask you, do you have some like really favorite verses? Some verses that just really spoke to you that I don't know, was your lifeline to Jesus or something?
Absolutely. Yes, I have a lot. I have a lot.
For sure. I mentioned, you know, a few something that,
Yes. Actually, I have my favorite one here. Well, at the moment with No More Dry Ground, we have these blankets and we like customize them with our favorite Bible verse, and we ask the ladies, and my specific one, you know, being with No More Dry Ground and what that looks like. And for me, like I was in, even being a mum, like that wilderness season, and then my business, the visual of creating streams in the desert. So that is where, you know, it's come from. No More Dry Ground was inspired by Isaiah 43:19. And it says, I'm doing something brand new, something unheard of. Even now it sprouts and grows and matures. Don't you perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and open up flowing streams in the desert. And I think it just takes me to that place in my life where something's been one way for a really long time. And when you're in the wilderness, you can think that this is the only way. Like it becomes really hard to see another way. And the enemy wants you to sit in that. And so for me, really leaning in that verse gets me, because it's like, no matter where you are in your life, if you tap into him and the living water, like he's the creator, he's the doer, he's the healer, he can change everything like that. And sometimes when you're in the wilderness season, it doesn't feel like it. And so that for me is like a reminder that, you know, what was once barren, he can make that not anymore. Like really knowing that. And seeing him through that wilderness season. And the other part that really speaks to me through that is just being present with him. I think, you know, you look at being in that season in your life, and you know, even in the wilderness season and in the desert, and you know, God's desire was really just for them to be with him and trust him, like his presence, like finding, actually, I'm reading this beautiful book at the moment, experiencing friendship with God in the wilderness. And so I really think like diving deep into that and what that looks like will shift everything. Like, yeah, it really will. And it's been such a blessing for me to go through that experience, and being still, just by being still and like stopping, even if that's for 10 minutes a day in this busy world and all the things that we do. You know, even in the Bible, it says, be still and know that I'm God. And so I think that's like coming back to the basics, bring it back to the simplicity of just really tuning into being in his presence, in your life, in your business, and that trust element of going, okay, God, I know you've got this, but I need you to take the reins. I'm letting go. Like I'll take the action. I will keep turning up. I'll keep taking the action of what I know. It's kind of like that one step in front, like lamp unto my feet. Like I can only see here. Yeah. But also I believe like that's for a reason. I used to see God like literally in the back seat of my business. He was in the back seat. I was doing all the things. But once he told me, no, I said, I'm putting you in the driver's seat. And he said, no. He goes, I want to be in the passenger seat because I want you to drive, but I want you to rely on me and ask me where to turn at each corner. You know, he's not going to give you the destination. He wants us close to lean on him at each corner. And I think that's why we don't see too far ahead in our life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've kind of learned to like be okay with not knowing, but also leaning on him. Because then I know I'm going the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
I can't
that's a
stop
good
it
way.
up.
A really good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a blessing going through that. And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy.
For sure.
But it's one that I wouldn't give up because I'm experiencing the fruits of the spirit, even joy. Like I wasn't there. I remember saying to God, I love like talking to God. The shower's my quiet place. And then I remember getting out one day and I was like, what is joy? Like, what do you mean joy? I don't really know. Like joy in the morning. Yeah. Now I have joy in the morning. There's a difference. It's a different way of living. Yeah. I'm turning up. Yeah.
That is so special. And that's the kind of God, that's the God we serve. And he said that he gives us joy. There's a few different verses that talks about the joy that I just love. It said your joy may be full. I don't know the rest of that verse, but and then it's like John 10:10, that he came to give us life and life abundant. Now, Satan wants to come steal, kill, and destroy. But God came to give us life and life abundant. And I think one of abundant of joy and peace and fulfillment, if we would seek him for that fulfillment, not everything else, not what the world can give.
Yes. And not that they're bad things as well. Oh, I love that verse so much. Not that they're bad things. I think that often for us women in business, it's like this mixture of like being a Christian woman and being successful and like having these things, having abundance. I had a really hard time even saying abundance. Like I wanted it all when I was on my own. Now I'm doing it with God. I was like, I had to relearn that God wants us to have good things. He wants you to have an abundance, but he wants to do it with you. And there's such a difference by partnering with him in your business, your goals, your dreams. Like put your dreamer back on, your dream home, like all these things. I had to redo it. This time it was, yes, this beautiful natural house with growing my own fruit and veg and chickens and all the nature things. But this time it was, there was a Bible on the coffee table, and the dinner table would I'd have family come over and just share his love and grace. So there's a different feeling to getting to a goal and knowing that you can have an abundance. Those parents out there, you want to give your children an ice cream, you want them to enjoy it, but not too much. It's like he's not going to sacrifice. He doesn't want your heart to be lost in the process, because we need to go to him. And if you're doing that with him, the true source of fulfillment, it's all going to ripple effect from that place, which is beautiful. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
So good.
Yeah. I love that. Wow. Well, I think this is definitely going to be an encouragement to those listening, and I hope they just see their need, well, for that personal relationship with God, and just see how he wants to be there, so present, and he's just that whisper away. He's just waiting for you. Yeah, that is wonderful. So yeah, well, we probably should wrap our time up here, but we could probably keep on talking. But so it's gonna, anything you want to? Yeah. Is there anything you want to point the ladies to before, like resources, stuff that you have to offer that you would like to, where they can
yes,
connect with you? Any
mate.
last things you want to share with?
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, if you want to hear more about No More Dry Ground, you can go to nomordryground.com. You can click on retreats from there if you want to check out, come and meet me in Utah. We do have two different weeks available coming up in September. At the end of September. So if you click on there, you'll see the two different dates, the beds and things like that are still available. We've only just launched it. So we have a community of about 40,000 Christian women in business. And so we've only just launched that to the ladies now. So if feeling the gentle nudge watching this, I say get in there, get your spot, be bold and do it. And if you're looking for a sisterhood to help grow your business with God and being tapped into the living water, then nomordryground.com, you can join the mastermind. We do have a trial at the moment for $7 for 14 days if you want to just check it out, nothing locked in, and then it's $97 a month after that. And that's who we are and what we do. And it's been a beautiful blessing to see the women grow their business and get more clients, but also doing it with God, the most important part. So thank you. Thank you, Mae.
Okay, well, you're welcome. It's been fun. So and to everyone else that's listening, just I hope you all have a really great week, and we'll really be here for another Monday because we are packing up to leave. So we're in Alberta, Canada, as I said, but we're going back to our Texas home. So we're supposed to be leaving tomorrow if I can finish getting ready, or the next day. So be on the road, and I will share stuff on the road. So we're going to take a bit of a trip, and in our motorhome with my I have 10 kids, but will be 7 with us, and so I'll definitely share a little stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. We're about to embark on that journey. So I'm gonna stop my regular videos, but I'll be doing videos on the road. So so
exciting. So you're moving to Texas, are you? You're moving.
Well, we had a home there and a home here for several years. So I mean, it's just going back to that home, and no, I don't think we're a fit. I don't know if we'll be there more. That we've just been back and forth, so going back again for a while. So
praying over safe travels over your family.
Okay, well, all the best, Tarryn, and just all that you're doing, and it's really exciting. So take care, God bless, and everyone have a really great week. Stay tuned for more.
Thanks, ladies.
Okay, bye.